So good morning, everybody. Can you hear my voice? There's some,
Yes, good morning.
yeah, good.
Good morning.
There was some delay because the Zoom was not connecting. Just now it had got connected. We'll be starting at 9 o'clock from new timetable. But let us start quickly. So where we stopped in the naval architecture, that numerical part, the last chapter was 4.3. So there we stopped there, and there was a question from Ilma or Admasu Workney. So one of you had a question. Let us just clarify that, and then we'll start this topic. So the question was in previous chapter, which we ended actually, but there was a question on the free surface effect, what we had calculated. So in this, we derived one formula in that, in the physical classes. That was this was the formula we derived. But in that formula, what we had during the lecture, that there was a tan theta. So then how that tan theta is not there in this formula. So if we look at it, so when we derive this formula, this is Z0, ZF, that is the initial and final. And what we did there actually, we did the two part we have divided. One is the part which we have taken the vertical change in the CG, and another is horizontal shift, vertical shift and the horizontal shift. And let us see one diagram quickly, so we'll come to know that where it was. So if you see, we used this one, this formula, this figure. In that, what we have, there is a change of G because of the free surface effect, and our GZ has reduced. So in this case, what we have calculated, so G1, we have calculated how much volume it has shifted. We took a strip. This was done in the physical class. This much volume has shifted to this side, and G has shifted for this much volume from here to here. Now what we derived there, this tan theta I am talking about. There was a tan theta. Now, but in our case, if you see this, this is what we have calculated here, GG1. What is the GG1? GG1 is this one. So G, this is the G, this is the GG1. But what we need to calculate, that this is the, for an example, this is the virtual shift of our G, and this is the initial, and this is the final. So what we have calculated by this formula, the tan theta is there, GG1. So what is this GG1 we have derived? That is by, we have rho tank, I tank divided by rho, this is the seawater where the ship is floating, and delta. Now, once we calculate our G1, we have got this formula, and G2 we are interested, that we are finding out. This is the initial and this is the final. Now, in that case, if you see this, it means tan theta is equal to, we have written this formula from here. So this is also theta. This is theta. So this is also theta. So G2, we can write that is because this is 90 degree. So tan theta is equal to G1 divided by G2. So we can write the G2 is equal to, it means G1 is equal to tan theta G2. Isn't it? Have you understood? This is theta. This is G. This is G1, G2. This is G1. So we can write tan theta is equal to G1 divided by G2. And what we are interested to find out this, what is the reduction in GM? That is the effect of free surface effect. So can we write from here G1 is equal to tan theta G2. This we can write, isn't it? Once we write this, if you see that formula is exactly the same what I have written here. So this is the G1 is equal to G2 tan theta. Now what we have found out from this formula, what we have calculated G1. Now this we can equate here. We can write this rho I tan theta, this rho I tan theta divided by rho 1 inverse delta, that we can equate, and from there tan theta will get cancelled out. So G2 will be this, and that is the free surface effect. Is it clear? Admasu or Elma, you pointed out this during the physical lecture. What about this tan theta? We had calculated up to G1. Then G2 we have calculated. That time the tan theta will get cancelled out. So it will remain the rho, that is the tank fluid rho I of the tank divided by rho. This rho is the ship in which water it is floating, and then inverse delta, that is the volume of displacement. Is it clear, Elma? Or actually, I think Elma, you asked this question, isn't it? Who has asked? Anyway, that is immaterial who had asked, but is it clear? Okay. So if it is clear, then let us go to the next chapter. Yeah, tell me, you want to say something, somebody? Yeah, Elma, you want to say something? Okay, let us continue with the next chapter. If Elma has any questions, I'll come back to that. Now, next chapter is large angle of stability. The thing is that when the small angle of hill we have, that time we can use a formula which we have seen. We have used one formula. We have got a formula that is the angle of like the when it is at a certain angle, there will be a what will be the z. It means there will be a moment by which it will come back to its upright position, and we have derived a formula. But in large angle stability, that formula will not function, will not work. Why it will not work? It means we have seen for the small angle, Zz is equal to GMT sine theta, because this is the our center line, and this is once it has healed for, or let us draw in other way. So suppose this is the, once it is healed, this was the center line. Now this is the theta, and we have the G here, and this is M, and we draw a perpendicular which is a Z, and we can find out that ZZ is the writing lever, and we can find out in terms of GM, that is GZ is equal to GM sine theta, because this is the theta, this is perpendicular, this is 90 degrees, so ZZ is equal to ZM sine theta we have calculated, and it is the transverse view, that is the transverse section, that is the reason GMT we write. Now the healing moment, which is the delta GZZ, because of that it is moved to a hill and it will come back, the writing moment will be exactly the same. And ZZ we can replace delta GMT sine theta we can write. But these will be applicable up to 7 to, which means 7 to 10 degree. It will depend on the ship's geometry, that is the shape of the ship. But beyond that, it will not be applicable. Because, but what is the reason why we cannot apply this beyond this angle of hill? What happens when it goes beyond that, the behavior of the ship is changed, and what happened, our this aim will drift away in this direction. So what will happen? It will be shifted towards this direction, as well as it will move upward direction. It means from here, if it has to shift here, this is suppose M1, then what will happen? It has to move in both direction. It has to move in this direction as well as upward direction, so that it coincides here. So that is the reason now our ZZ is changed. And what will happen to B? B behaves like this. Suppose this is the B, and we have seen from small angle, it is like a pendulum. M is pivoted and it moves like this. But now, because of drifting, and B has come to this point for an example. And this is a B1. Now, if you extend this line, which is the vertical line, now this line is coinciding at the center, that become meta center. So these will move this way. It means this will be B2. This distance will remain same from here to here, BM. Now it has shifted up this much. This much it has shifted up. Equal distance at the bottom also it will shift up, the B. So this is the way it behaves. So now we cannot use this formula. So what will you do? In that case, we'll have to do something. We make a curve. We draw a curve by which we can get the, what is the, means we calculate, then you can calculate the ZZ. Because its behavior is different, we plot it and then we calculate it. So how it has been done? It means line of bouncy forces for any displacement. Any displacement, suppose displacement is fixed. Now your ship is heeling. Then what will happen? There will be bouncy force, and down bouncy force will keep on changing because your shape will change. And each angle of hill, there will be a ZZ, because ZZ also will change. And that can be plotted against the displacement on a curve, and that curve will give us the, like, that is the reason this curve is made, that is the cross stability curve. This cross stability curve, when they make the naval architecture, what they do, they assume a CG. That CG might not be the actual correct CG, but they assume a CG. So once they assume a CG and different displacement and different angle of hill, they will get some ZZ. And that ZZ is plotted. And that is called cross curve of stability. Let us see how does it look like. This is the stability curve or the cross curve of stability. So stability cross curve. So assumes in this case, particular case, it is assume kg is 6 millimeter. And then we have the ZZ, and this is the displacement. So each displacement, suppose this is the displacement, we will get for different angle of hill. Suppose this is 45 degree. This is 30 degree. This is 15 degree. This is 60 degree. And this is 75 degree. This is 90 degree. So at a particular displacement, we can get a different angle of hill. As the angle of hill changing, there will be a new ZZ. And these are the ZZ. It means at 90 degree, this will be the ZZ. And at 75, this will be the ZZ. At 60, this will be this is the 15. At 60, this will be the ZZ. So this is plotted. And at different displacement, it is plotted both way. And then we make a curve. And that gives us the, suppose ship is loaded at particular displacement, because displacement will keep on changing depending on the loading. Suppose a particular ship loading is this. So we know in different angle, what angle of hill, what will be our ZZ. Because ZZ we are interested for, because ZZ is the stability. It gives us the transverse stability. So this is the way, because we actually cannot use that formula what we have for the small angle of hill. So this kind of curve is drawn. But here we have the assumed kg. Then the curve is made. But when we are taking a data from this curve, it will be assume kg is mentioned. It will be 6 meter. After that, we'll have to make some correction. If the assumed kg is not the same as the actual kg, it might not be same. Actual kg, when you load, kg will vary. It will depend on your load distribution. So kg suppose change, then this value also will change. We need to make a correction. So just think about this way. This is the ship, and we have taken, it is for an example, it is upright. This is the G, and we have taken kg6. This is K. And this is kg. Now, the actual kg might not be here. This is assumed. Suppose G has shifted because of the loading condition, G will be differing. G has shifted. For an example, you have loaded iron ore in a bulk carrier. What will happen? G will shift because iron ore is heavy cargo. It will be at the bottom. So in that case, what will happen? We'll have to make a correction to get the correct ZZ. So this will give us 6 meters. After that, we make correction. Suppose due to some loading condition, G has increased, shifted there. What will happen? We have two conditions. Once we have the G has below the assumed kg, and kg is more than the above, means G has shifted above the assumed kg. In that case, what will happen? When it is shifted below, our ZZ will, it means GM has increased. It means our stability has increased. When G has shifted upward, our GM has reduced. We know that GM is one of the parameter we calculate, so that stability calculation, we do transverse stability. So G has moved up, GM has reduced. It means our GZ also will reduce. So we need to make this correction. It means in one case it can be plus when it is moving down, and another case it can be negative when it is moving up. So let us see how the correction is made. Is it clear, the cross stability curve? Have you understood how we draw the cross stability curve? Can you hear me, my question?
Yes, Chief, we can hear you.
Yes, sir, we can hear.
Yeah, is it clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, tell me. So if it is clear, then let us see how the correction it is made. The correction what we make, like in this case, what I told you is exactly the same thing is written. What is the assumed ZM? We have a number of different angle of hill we take. Now at that each angle of hill will be getting a ZZ, but that will be assumed ZZ because we have assumed the G. Now what we do, we'll have to make the correction. It means actual, if it is above, it means GZ will be less. And if it is below, the GZ will be more. So now if we see this diagram, this is the ZZ. Now this is the assumed one. This is the assumed one. Now it has moved upward direction. That is the G actual. In that case, what will happen? It means this is the center line and this is the mu, that is the bouncy force, which is at the B. Now in this case, what had happened? That this was assumed here, but it has moved up. Actually, it is up. Then we had at assume ZZ, we can find out from the curve, this is this much, and actually it is not this much because it has moved up, it has reduced, actually it is this. Now this much we'll have to deduct from the value which we'll get from the curve. So how will you deduct? It's very simple. So we have the theta, and this is, we need to find out if you take this triangle, then this loss of ZZ we can calculate. That is in terms of this distance, it will be like G actual and the distance between G actual and the G assume multiplied by sine theta. That is this one. And if we can, we have this value, we deduct this, we get the value. The actual ZZ we can find out. So we have the ZZ actual to find out. We have the assume from the curve minus this value. We can find out what is the actual ZZ. So any changes does not matter, we can calculate. So that is the reason it is assumed as a CG and it has been calculated and provided to the ship. And any loading condition, Z where the G is, we know we can find out the, because G we can calculate depending on the loading condition. We have the light ship G. So we can calculate, we can make the necessary correction to get the actual ZZ for the stability purpose. Is it clear, this one? Any question? Have you understood how we corrected?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, so then let us.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Okay.
No, Chief.
Yeah. Tell me.
For me, it's not clear, Chief.
Okay. So this is the, we have the curve. In this curve, from this, suppose our displacement is this. So at this displacement, we can find out what is the ZZ. Suppose angle of hill is means each angle of hill we have a ZZ, that is assume kg. Kg here in this curve, it is assumed 6. But now the GM has shifted. It means the kg has point G has shifted, kg has shifted. Actually, it is not 6 meter. Then how will you make the correction? So from here, we can find out at 6 meter kg, what is the GZ at that particular displacement. Now what you do, we have this value. This is the assumed G. Now actual G, for an example, it had shifted upward. It means actual G is here, not here. But the data will be getting from the ZZ will be getting from the cross stability curve. That will give this distance. Because this is 6 meter, we have assumed. Now, actual G is here. So what is the actual ZZ? This is the actual ZZ. And this is the angle of hill. Any angle of hill, we can make the correction. So this angle of hill is theta. And this is also theta. Because if you, let me show you, this is the assumed ZZ, which we can get from the curve. But our actual ZZ is this. So what is the loss of ZZ? This much. And how we can calculate this? It means this is the assumed ZZ which we can find out from the curve. Then we minus this, we get this. How will you get this value of lost ZZ? This distance is known to us because we know what is the assumed ZZ, means the kg and the actual kg we have found out. So we can deduct it and we can get this value. In terms of this value, we can find out this. It means lost ZZ in this triangle, it is Z assumed, G actual multiplied by sine theta, because sine theta is equal to our loss GZ divided by G actual and G assume. So this is the formula. So we can find out lost ZZ is this multiplied by sine theta. That's what it is written here. And once we know this value, we deduct from this value Z assume ZZ, which we get it from our curve. The cross stability curve will give at any theta, we can find out that, and we deduct this value at the same theta, we get this. Clear? Understood? How you made the correction to get the actual ZZ. And any theta, and it will be for the any particular displacement we can calculate. And any particular theta means all the angle of hill, we can calculate the actual ZZ. Now, this G can move up, it can move down, both direction. So what will happen when it has moved up? We have deducted. But when it is moved down, then what will happen? Suppose it is here. So our assume is this. In that case, it has increased. It means this is the actual, means this is the actual from here to here, but from the curve we'll get this much. So this much has to be added. So exactly similar way we can do, because now G actual is here and G assume is here. We can find out this gain of CZ in terms of G assume and Z actual. Exactly the same. Only thing here, it will be plus. Instead of minus, it will be plus. So that is the reason ZZ actual, we write ZZ assume plus minus G actual, G assume sine theta. That is the way, because it can be plus, it can be minus also, depending on the actual G position, respect to the assumed G. So we can calculate both way, and we will write this, use this formula for that, for the correction, depending on the situation where the G actually is. Is it up above it, assume, or below the assume? If it is below, it will be plus. If above, it will be minus. So that is the reason, as I told you, that this formula plus minus we do write. So it is same. Yeah, Workney, tell me.
Okay, Chief, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So when we say this angle, I mean the G actual is shifting upward and downward. Does it mean it's the angular field is in the port side and the starboard side, or
No.
does it mean?
No. So what we are considering, it is moving, it is on the center line. G is on the center line. If you see, this is the center line. G has not shifted port and starboard side. It is on the center line. We have assumed a G to construct that curve, cross stability curve. But on ship, then depending on the different loading condition, G can move. G is still on the, we are considering on the center line, but it can move upward direction, it can move downward direction. It might not be Z assume at the same point. Suppose at one loading condition, this curve is 6 meter kg we have considered, and your G is 6 meter. Kg is 6 meter. Then there will not be any correction. You can get the data from that curve. What correction we are making? When G is on the center line, but it is not assume Z means kg, it is more than that or less than that. But it remains same on the center line. And because of that, if there is an external force, this is the external force. This heel not because of the G. Understood? If G is not here, G is here, there will be a healing moment. That is different. We are not considering that. What we are thinking, if G, position of G is here, and there is an same external force, how much will, means suppose angle of heel is theta, at that theta what will be the ZZ? Because in that case, ZZ, what you get from the curve is not the correct one, the actual one. That is the, because G we have considered 6 meter for an example. We consider different value. In this curve, it is considered 6 meter. Is it clear, Workney?
Yes, sir. This means only the loading or the displacement of the ship varying is actually and assumed one is shifting. So
Yes,
we consider the external force is
for the
constant.
healing.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's,
that's correct. Yeah.
okay, Chief, thank you.
So now there is another curve, we call it Kn curve. Now we have seen that formula, we have plus minus because it can move up, it can move down. That's why we are using this plus minus. Now to avoid that, what we do, it is the same thing. Kn curve, why we call? Because we take the G at K. It means when we assume, that time we assume the K, G is at K. What does it means? Kg is 0. Why we take this? In this condition, tell me which sign will be here. We want to avoid one sign. We don't want two sign. So that every time there will be one sign will be there. In that case, which one will be the sign? Tell me. Is it clear my question? We have considered kg was 6 meter before. Now we are considering kg is 0. Always. When you construct the kn curve. Yeah, Melissa, tell me.
The minus sign will be there.
Yeah, because it cannot go beyond this. It will be move upward direction. That is the reason it will be always minus. So to avoid, okay, to avoid this plus minus sign, we make kg and we make a curve, like similar curve. We get the gz and we make correction. We'll put the negative sign. So that is called Kn curve. So in that case, we'll be having always Zz actual will be Kn minus Kg actual sine theta. So this is the way we calculate, because in this case, what will happen? We have taken this. So this is the value from the curve we'll be getting, but actually it is here. So this much we'll have to deduct. So it will be kg sine theta. This is kg and this is theta. So kg sine theta will be deducted from kn. So what will happen? Kn, which we got from the curve, and minus kg sine theta. So this is the calculation we made. And here this g is actual. So to simplify it, it has been made by the naval architecture this way. So now this stability curve is another statical stability, that is dynamical stability curve, and the statical stability curve. What is the statical stability curve? We have, it is Zz is plotted against the angle of hill. It means on the horizontal axis, we have the angle of hill. This is the angle of hill, and this is gz. Because each angle of hill, we have a different gz, and we can plot it. Once we plot it, it will make a curve like this. And this one, once we make a curve of this, initial stability we know, that is the small angle of hill. There gm is constant. There is no change in gm. But large angle of hill, that is, we have seen already that 7 to 10 degree up to the gm will be same. After that, what will happen? Gm will drift away. It means gm will change. Gm will increase. So in that case, what will happen? We'll be having, like, we need to find out what is the gm. And how we find out? We have plotted the curve angle of hill against the gz. We have made a curve like this. Now this curve gives us certain information. What are the information it gives? It means each angle of hill, we have got the zz. Now this gm, to find out actual gm, that we take a angle of 57.3 degree. Actually, we take 1 radian. At 1 radian, if we draw a perpendicular and if we draw a tangent to the initial line, it means it is from 0, we draw a tangent to the small angle of hill. It means up to 7 to 10 degree, depending on the shape. So 7 to 10 degree, we draw a tangent. There will be a curve in this area, in this angle, the gz curve, that the stability curve, that is, we draw a tangent to this, and then it coincides with a point on this 1 radian. We have drawn a perpendicular. So that gives us the gm. It means this will be the gm for the small angle of hill. So this gm, why we take the 1 radian. Let us see this. So this is for an example, we write A here, and then this is a B, and this is C, and then this is D, and this is E. Now if you take these two is a similar triangle, ADE and ABC, then what we get? DB divided by AE is equal to BC by AC. We can write this, isn't it? This from this two triangles, similar triangle. And now once we have written this, this is DE. So this DE is our GM, okay? Because we are, we'll have to see why it is GM. So this A, it means DE divided by, we can write this way, DE divided by 1 radian. We have taken 1 radian is equal to, we have this one. It means we have dB. What is dB? What is D? There is a mistake I made. This is D E divided by AE is equal to BC divided by AC. Now DE we divided by this AE we can replace by 1 radian and is equal to our this value. What is BC? This is the BC. This is a GZ. And what is AC? AC is the theta. So ZZ we can replace with GM sine theta. So what will happen? We can write DE divided by 1 radian is equal to GM sine theta GM sine theta divided by theta. So at small angle, because this is the small angle, we are calculating the GM, that is the original GM. So theta, sine theta will be equal to the theta. So we can cancel it out. And then DE become GM. That is the reason the 1 radian is taken. And we can calculate this as a GM for the small angle of hill. So, and if we convert this 1 radian into degree, it will give us the 57.3 degree. That's why at 57.3 degree, we draw a vertical line and it will give us the reading, the GM value it will give us. Is it clear, everybody? Have you understood what I did? Because we wanted to know what is the GM at small angle of hill. So this area, this from here to here is small angle of hill. We have the GZ, and then we have drawn a tangent to that curve, keeping this is 0. From 0 we draw a curve tangent to this curve, and then we draw at 1 radian we draw a perpendicular which coincide here, and that gives us GM. So we have, what I have done, we draw a vertical line which is at the small angle, and then I took the similar triangles, and we have got this, and we have replaced DE. We need to find out why DE is GM. So DE divided by 1 radian, BC, which is GZ, and AC is theta. So from here, GZ we can replace GM sine theta, and for small angle of hill, we can consider sine theta is equal to theta. So we can cancel it out, and then DE will become, because this is 1, DE will become GM. So that is the reason we draw a line, vertical line at 1 radian, that is 57.3 degree, and we draw a tangent at keeping at 0. From 0, we draw a tangent to the curve up to this line, this degree, and then that coincide with GM, and that is the vertical line, and that gives us the GM. That's why we calculate GM from the statical stability curve. That initial GM we calculate this way. So now this curve gives us a certain other information. This curve, when we plot, it will be like this, and at up to certain degree of hill, it will keep on increasing, and then it will reach to a maximum. After that, our GZ is reducing. Up to this, GZ was increased. So what is the maximum GZ we can find out from this curve? And after that, it will start reducing. And at one point, GZ will become 0. That is called vanishing stability. After that, it means it will capsize the vessel. So after that, GZ will become negative, because this is positive and this side is negative. And this range of positive stability is from here to here. So this from here to here, this is the range of positive stability, because still it is not negative. And there is another information it gives, that is the point of inflation. Point of inflation, where when suppose a ship is capsizing, your upper deck edge at one point it will start submerging. It means this is the water level, this is the cross-sectional view, now it is capsizing. Then what will happen? So this is the center line for an example. So this is the center line, and next at one point what will happen? This is the water level. So one point this deck will be submerged here, and that is the inflation point. After that, if you see, it is your G initially it is increasing at the almost at the same rate. After that, it will increase higher rate. After that, it is increasing, but not the rate of increase here. Rate has changed. If you see the same angle of, suppose this is the angle we draw here, and same angle here. Here, difference of exactly same angle, GZ, change of GZ was quite high. Whereas here, the GZ rate of increase of GZ has reduced, though it is also increased up to maximum value. After that, that is called inflection point. So at this point, the GZ will still increase, but it will not, rate of increase will reduce. So these are the information we get from the statical stability curve. Is it clear, everybody? The information you get from the statical stability curve?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so then this is the next slide. Actually, it is the same thing what we have. That is maximum GZ we can find out, angle of vanishing stability we have seen, range of positive stability we have seen, and the inflection point. So this is the information we do get. Now there is another is dynamical stability. The earlier was the statical stability. Now the dynamical stability means how much work done has to be done to bring to that angle of hill. You need to do some work done. Then only it will move to that angle. So that we calculate. How do we calculate that? That we and it is also required for the load line rule calculation. So how much work done has to be done to achieve that, means to have that angle of hill. So what we do actually in that case, the statical stability curve, under that curve, if you calculate the area under this curve, then we can calculate the work done by multiplying the displacement. If you multiply by the displacement, we find out the area under the statical stability curve, and then multiplied by the delta, you can find out the how much work done is required to get that angle. So that is the static and dynamic stability. It means we have the under this curve, we find out the area, that is GZ curve, GZ and the angle of hill, and then we multiplied by the delta, we can find out the how much work is required to get that angle. Suppose we want to have the angle up to here, this angle we want. So this much work done has to be done. So that is the our dynamical stability calculation. Now, how will you calculate this area? In this area, we calculate this way. We use the Simpson rule. Simpson rule, you all know. But what is the interval we take? Because why we use Simpson rules? It gives us the accuracy level high. And common interval, we usually take 10 degree, but we convert into radians, which when you calculate the area, we'll be considering in radians. So 10 degree, each interval we take. So 10 degree will be, we know that 1 radian is 57.3. So in unitary method, we can calculate 10 degree is 0.1745 radians. Clear this, how we calculate, then we apply our, because we know the GZ value, interval we know, and we can calculate the work done. Area under this curve and multiplied by delta, we can find out the work done from the dynamical stability curve. So we'll do the numericals later on. So we'll calculate this area and then we'll calculate the work done required for that angle. If for an example, this angle is suppose 20 degree. So to have the angle of hill 20 degree, under this curve, we calculate this area multiplied by delta, that will give us the how much work done is required to have the angle. And 30 degrees, suppose 20 degree means we can take more than that also, but this is a standard. It is an example it's given. 10 degree, it means 2 ordinate will be having, 3 ordinate actually will be having for Simpson's rule, but interval will be 2 in between. So it will be 10 and 10. So it will be 0.1745 radians each interval. Now angle of steady hill. The angle of steady hills is something like if we have the statical stability curve and this is the hilling moment. So hilling moment divided by delta. What is the hilling moment? We have seen the hilling moment is the GZ multiplied by the delta G. So suppose G is constant, so we take delta. So hilling moment is delta multiplied by the GZ, and it is required. That healing moment means that much force is required to heal at that point, at that angle. And if we draw this curve, healing moment divided by delta against the angle of heal, each angle of heal, this healing moment will change, and delta is constant. Divided by delta, you will get a value, which is GZ. And that if we plot on this, then what will happen? This line will be like this. And once this line you draw, you see it is coinciding at 2 points because our stability curve is statical stability curve is this. So what does it means here? At this point and this point, the healing moment and the writing moment will be equal. And once it is equal, it means this will be the steady angle of heal. If you apply that force, at that point, it will remain. Because at this point, it will be equal in healing moment and the writing moment. So once that's the reason it is called the steady heel. Angle of steady heel we can find out by this. So this is the two values we get. Always we will be getting the two values. So the steady heel will be at this point, at this point. So but this point means it is ZZ is reducing, but it will be having a steady value here. So this is called the angle of steady heel. So if you see this, what is written here, the healing moment, which is based on the angle of heel, because angle of heel increases, the healing moment increases, and that is ZZ increases, ZZ multiplied by the delta is the healing moment. And then two values when it is coinciding, that is the steady heel, we call it. So we can find out what is the steady heel once we plot these two curves. So the healing moment, it means at what ZZ it will be, because we have divided by delta, which is a constant value, because when we are drawing this, it will be at a particular displacement. So this GZ, at this GZ, we are interested to what GZ it will be steady. So at this GZ, this two, it will be angle of steady heel. So that is the way we can find out when it is at equilibrium, it will be equal. That time we find out what is the steady angle of heel. Now, tell me, because actually your class is up to 10:20 today, isn't it? The revised timetable what I had sent you. But if you want to, it's up to you. If you want to less break, because I have kept 20 minutes break. But if you want to have a less break, I can continue another 5 minutes. Is it okay? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then let me continue for another 5 minutes so that we can cover another things. So now the loss of stability due to the shift of cargo or movement of cargo. Once the cargo is moved, like we have seen the free surface effect, that is the liquid, it shifts. But in this case, what we are talking about the grain, for an example. Grain, that is the problem for bulk carrier, it can shift. So once it shifts from one side because of the heel, there is external force, ship has heeled, and the grain will shift from one side to the other side. And it will reduce the GM and it will heal further. So it is an adverse effect, and the ship can capsize also. That is the reason, one of the requirement for the bulk carrier to have grain. There is a different certificate has to be issued, and it is self-trimming. It means once it heals again, it comes back to the original position, the cargo. So this shifting of cargo, and that is the internal movement. Once there is an internal movement, what will happen? There will be a vertical and horizontal shift of the G. So let us say this. Suppose we'll be treating like this. We will not treat like free surface effect. It looks like free surface effect, but what will happen? Mass, we have seen this type of arrangement. If mass is moved upward direction, then our G was here. Initially, G will shift, up vertical shift, we call it. And then mass is moving this direction, it will be G will shift in this direction. So it is horizontal shift, this is vertical shift. Exactly here also we'll be considering same way when we'll be having a internal shifting, that is the cargo shifting, the G0, G1, that is the vertical shift. And then what will happen once it is vertical shift means our cross curve of stability will change. It will not be, or statical stability curve will not be same, it will change. As well as because GZ will change in that case. And then there will be transverse direction, it will change, shift the G, and because of that also the stability curve will change. It will not be same. So GZ will change. That's what we are interested for, to know what will be the condition in different angle of field when the cargo is shifting. And it is similar to the free surface effect as I told you, but treated differently. We don't treat this way because free surface effect over it is liquid, it can come back. Because in that case, there is the structure should be made such a way so that it can be self-trimming. Again, it can be, it will move to the origin, similar position within the stability. So this is the way it will be treated, and we know we can find out how much it had shifted. How much it had shifted, we can find out by using this formula. This formula already we have derived. The vertical shift of G0 is initial, G1 is final in vertical direction. Mass, how much mass it had shifted, if we know, then we can calculate, and how much is the vertical shift of the mass, and divided by the delta, we can find out, because delta remains same because it is internal shifting of the cargo. So we can find out G0, G1. And transversely also exactly same formula we have used before. Also G1, G2, M multiplied by D transverse divided by delta. So we can find out these two values. Once we can find out these two values, then what will happen? This will be the, it means this was G0 and it had vertically shifted because this is the center line. So how much it had shift loss of GZ? This much, because it has shifted now. Now this is the GZ. And we can calculate G0, G2, G1, we can calculate from that formula. Mass shifted multiplied by the distance shifted divided by the delta. And then we can find out this loss of GZ, because this is theta. So we know loss of GZ is equal to sine theta multiplied by G1, Z0, G1. So we can find out. Now what has happened? GZ has changed. The curve has changed. It will not be same curve, there will be a correction for that. So shifting of cargo, especially the grain for an example. So this GZ has to be deducted. And plus for this also there will be, now G1 will shift to, this is the transverse movement, horizontal movement. It means finally GZ is this. So we'll have to calculate, this is also loss for the transverse shift. This is loss for the vertical shift. And this is also theta. This is also theta. So we can calculate this distance. This distance will be our G1, G2 cos theta, because this is 90 degree. and here this is 90 degrees. Is it clear, all of you? When the cargo is shifting, what is happening? So there will be a vertical shift of G1 as well as horizontal shift, and for that there will be a reduction in GZ, and that has to be corrected from the curve what is provided to us. So we'll have to deduct these two. So that is the reason this will be the formula. This will be the formula we do use. GZ original, it means G2, Z2, that will be our actual GZ. And G0, Z0, plus minus, G0, G1, why it is plus minus? It can move upward direction, downward direction. That's why it is plus minus. Minus G1, G2 cos theta. It means this, if it is moved down, this G, then it will be plus. Move up, it is minus. And this will be always minus. That is G1, G2 cos theta. So what will happen because of that? Original curve is this one. Now GZ has reduced. This curve will shift downward. And here it was 0. GZ will become 0 here. And from here to here, GZ will become negative. That is the problem. We'll see this. Now, because the next lecture will start, I'll close it here, though we have lost around 20 minutes today because of the Zoom connection, but it will be covered. So your syllabus will be covered. So there is no problem on that. So I'll start from this next class. Okay, and you take a 10 minutes break. 10:40, the next lecture will start. Have you understood till now what I have taught to you?
Yes, sir.
So you take a break.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Take a break, and next lecture will start at 40. Okay.
All right, sir.
Yeah. Okay.